Hiya, my name is Colleen Patterson. I play camogie for Ruairí, Cushendall and Antrim. I also play Gaelic football with Glenariff, which is my home club. Taking a wee break this year from it, but hopefully we'll be returning next year. But yeah, I've been playing camogie for, oh good God, about 25 years. That's mad.
You don't even look for 25, Colin, so it's okay.
Oh, I don't know, I feel it.
So you faced some really tough injuries during your playing career. Can you tell us about, I suppose, your injury journey and what's been the hardest part of being sidelined physically?
Yeah, so in the grand scheme of things, like in my camogie career, like I've been blessed to not actually be injured that much, apart from obviously my two major ones. Like I've had broken fingers and dodgy ankles, but like nothing major. Obviously until the ACL, my first ACL in 2019, and then again on my second knee in April 2024, so that's the one that I'm still rehabbing currently. So it's over a year now. I suppose when I look at the two ACLs, like exact same injury, but the rehab journey has been like totally different in both, which just shows like, you know, no injury is the same, like the journey is not linear whatsoever. The first one I suppose in 2019, I was naive. I had never had like a big injury before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what to be doing physio-wise, strength and conditioning-wise. Like I'd barely had any sort of gym access at all. Wouldn't have known what to do if I went to a gym, to be honest. So the start of that was pretty slow, I would say, like the journey of the rehab. But I got set up with a strength and conditioning team in Belfast, Aaron and Seamus McCaulfield from Lifestyle and Performance. And once they gave me a sort of plan in place, it sort of went swimmingly from there. Didn't really have any, you know, setbacks in terms of like the structure of the knee, like physically. And COVID was around at that stage too. So actually whenever I think back on it, like mentally it was definitely not as tough as this time around because nobody else was training and no one else was playing matches, so I wasn't really missing out as such in that aspect. So although at the time I thought it was like the worst thing ever, it definitely was, don't get me wrong, but comparing it to now, it's just been totally different. I think this time around, just like I had 5 years to build up strength. I knew exactly what to do in the gym. I had a really good strength base. Probably was the fittest I had been ever. And it's just because of doing extras outside of my own training, like team training, that just to get myself to another level. So like, in terms of speed, my actual like camogie playing, I just felt like I was peaking. So I think that was the most frustrating bit of it. It just sort of, the timing, no timing, there's no good time to do your ACL, but I just felt like it hit me at a really bad time. Just mentally, well, physically, there's just been setback after setback, which then took its toll mentally on me. I think I was 7 months down the line and I still couldn't even get full extension in your knee, which you should get within the first 4 to 6 weeks. So I just knew there was something wasn't right. Had to go back, get another MRI, and then I'm now just back 5 weeks after a second operation, which I had to repair. Well, they repaired my meniscus and they like cleaned it up, is what they call it basically. But for the first time in over a year, it's the first time I felt a wee bit of hope that, okay, maybe I can make it back for some part of this season, though I don't want to also like think too much about it, because there's been so many setbacks, and I would have been like, oh, okay, right, I'm on the right track, then another setback would come. So just mentally that really, really took its toll. I suppose I was captain of Antrim and of my club last year. It sort of happened at the end of, I think it was after our last league match. Just went to training one day. I actually said to Dervla in the warm-up, it's mad to think back, like I said to her, I feel like I have been hit by a bus on like my right side. My ankle, my hip and my knee on that side just feel funny. But like, it's never enough to be like, oh, I'll sit out. It's not the type, just a bit stubborn, so I would be. So I just continued, and then it happened. I knew straight away. So I don't know, when it did happen, I was like, right, okay, because I've been through it before, I have that to my advantage. I have my strength base that I know I can like build upon. I know what's in front of me. So I kind of thought, okay, this will be straightforward enough, but it's been anything but it. I felt a lot of pressure just being captain. I felt like I had to show up as my best self all the time. I was going to club training knowing that our club team has gone from strength to strength and is really, really, starting to come together at the minute. So I was going to training. There was a buzz coming up for championship. I didn't want to be like, putting any sort of, I didn't want to bring down the vibes. So I was like trying to basically, join in with the buzz as I could. But I just got to a point where I just broke. I actually broke to Emer O'Hara in the club there just after training one day. I was like, no, I can't just keep putting on a mask, is what I would say. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting no show. I just felt like you go and you put on a mask, and then as soon as you get back into the car, reality just hits again. And I would have just drove after training to wherever it took me for 20 minutes, just to sort of gather myself and gather my thoughts, because I didn't really want to ever be like a burden, and it's not as if anyone made me feel that way, but I wanted to be show up for the team, and I just felt like I couldn't give that to them at that point. But the help that they give you, honestly, at club here and at county, they couldn't do enough. And people do constantly ask you, how are you? I think you just sort of, just for ease, you just be like, yeah, getting on grand, it's fine. But inside you're like, it's not great. I think it just made me realise how much weight I put on camogie to give me fulfilment, a sense of fulfilment and happiness. So it sort of made me look at the rest of whatever's going on in my life around me, just realise that definitely also has an impact too. Obviously camogie, I can't be playing camogie forever, so in that sense it's given me, an opportunity to work on myself and just personally, just different things, to try to get back to myself. I do feel like I'm getting there now. It definitely there's a lot of lows, but I think just with the help of Annie, my cousin as well, going through the same thing, although it never aligned that we were doing the exact same thing in the gym, just having somebody else there definitely always helped. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, mentally it definitely was a lot worse than the physical side of things, 100%.
And I think that you're so used to being that leader that it's just your personality that you find it really, really difficult to step back and let somebody else support you. To even hear you saying that you went driving before going home, because I know at home you're there for everybody else.
Yeah.
But sometimes that you do have to step back and allow other people to support you, because you're there for everybody else so much, and you are person, people would be delighted to step in and support you. But it's just allowing yourself to do that. I suppose to show people your weakness too. Yeah. And there's a strength in that.
100% there is. So, there definitely is.
But brilliant. Thank you for sharing, because I know
it's just you don't talk about it often enough, and then yeah, you just sometimes it
But
comes to light.
The thing is that because you're talking about this is the whole point in this. There's so many other girls like you, so many other athletes like you that struggle, that hopefully it'll help other people to seek out support and to realise that we all need help sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, doesn't even have to be major injuries, you know. Like, I feel like people that are, you know, out for like 2 to 3 months as well, like that takes their toll as well. I know there's a few girls that are struggling too, just because, you know, it's not a major injury, it still is, it's holding you back, you know what I mean?
And it's a really important point that you made as well, that, like, I always joke that camogie's life. Like, it's a lifestyle.
There's more to life.
And like, it is, your whole lives revolve around training, playing, your social circle, everything, that sometimes you get so wrapped up in that and you realise that you forget that there's so much else out there that's important to you and to get joy from. So it's important to build on all parts of your life as well. So thanks for sharing that. Was there ever a point during your recovery where you questioned coming back? And if you did, how did you push through?
No. And I would tell you that with confidence. That's one thing that I can safely say and confidently say, that like I would never have questioned not coming back or not making a return. I think, again, I'll allude to the word stubbornness, but like, because I had just turned 30 the month before that second ACL, people were like, oh, Colleen, come on, just like hang up the boots. Is it really that worth it? But I feel like people that don't get it or aren't in the circles of GAA maybe, or like a sports kind of person, like they will never understand it. Like, but it's just obviously something that I'm so passionate about, and like I feel like maybe because I previously had done it and come back, that's maybe helped as well, because I'm like, right, okay, well I've come back from it before, why can't I come back from it again? So no, definitely, I never did. It didn't matter. I think it was like more like a question of how long is it going to take, but I'll do whatever it takes to get back, kind of thing.
I wrote the question, I knew the answer.
Fair enough.
And I think that's one of the things as well, the more and more you're around players, you realise that county players are county players because of their mindset more than, not even county players, elite players are elite players. I think mindset is probably the most important thing.
It is.
And the more you're around elite athletes, you realise that.
Yeah.
So you have to be really strong-willed, and that stubbornness is
Oh God.
What role does your team and community play in helping you get back on the pitch? I know you've sort of touched on it a wee bit.
No, I don't even think they honestly realise how much of an impact that they do have. Like, I just say, like, even club and county both, like they're constantly asking you, are you okay? Do you have everything that you need? They're providing psychologists. Sometimes, like I've had a few sessions with Gareth Fox with the club here, and way at the very start, and he just sort of put things into perspective for me. That really, really helped. That helped coming up to championship that time when I did have that bit of a breakdown. Just to put things into perspective, you know. But I don't think there's so many that have helped me that if I was even to thank them, the list would just be a mile long. But they know who they are, and they have got me through it every step of the way, like 100%. Their kindness and just general support is second to none. Like, you couldn't do it without them. But I just feel like that's what GAA community is always about. Like, you are just like one big family. I know that everyone says that, but it's genuinely true. So I've been lucky to have 3 teams to do that with. So many girls that have helped me along the way. So yeah, that's.
So I have never seen a training where you're not there. I've never seen a match where you're not there. And it's not even that you're sitting on the dugout. You're on the sideline. You're providing advice, support, water, whatever it would be. How important is that to you, but also how important do you think it is for a team through injury? Yeah, so I think whenever it did happen, I chatted to Martin. He was like, listen, I want to give you a role, more or less, because he knows I'm not going to sit and
I can't do that. I have to be helping in some sort of way, but it also helped distract me and give me something to feel like I was giving something back to them without actually playing and contributing on the field, if that makes sense. So I took up the role of goalkeeping coach. Not that I know anything about goalkeeping, but yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. It was just something different that I'd never actually done before. But I think it's important to also not isolate yourself from it. I think I kind of did that the first time round. But again, I was so naive to it. I didn't know what the heck, like, you know, what was in front of me. I thought maybe staying out of it would, I felt like it was too hard to be there. But this time around, I just realised, no, you need to be in amongst it as well. That's what me and Annie said, like even the high fives that we do at the end, it's just to feel like you're part of it as well. But again, yeah, I just felt because obviously I was captain as well, I needed to like somehow show that I was still being there for them without, I don't know, being on the pitch, if that makes sense, yeah.
You're always there for everybody. It's like telling Colleen that, like even failing teams, you know, any team that ever asks it of you, you're always there to
I know, but I just think it's good to pay back as well. I think that's what it's about as well, you know.
Brilliant. So we've talked about the mental side of recovery, but camogie in itself is a very mental game.
Oh, 100%.
What's your mindset going into high pressure matches?
So obviously with County, we had been in Division 1 championship for 2 years, so that was like peak, you know. That's the level you want to be playing at. Playing the likes of Kilkenny, Galway, Cork, you know, they were always big games, and I find myself being asked a lot to be a man marker or to go on to certain people. At the beginning, whenever I was asked to do that, like I would have struggled with my confidence a lot, just in general life, but in camogie as well, whenever I was younger. And the first time I was asked, oh God, it was like, you know, I'd been asked to do the most difficult task on this earth. And I spoke to our psychologist at the time, I think it was Kelly Fay, brilliant sports psychologist, and she said to me, well, listen, like, your management have the faith in you and believe in you that you can, you know, have an impact and take this player out of the game kind of thing. So she was like, go into it with confidence that they're backing you. So that sort of gave me a bit of, you know, belief in myself. So in those things, I think if you prepare the best you can, and if you've ticked every box and done all the extras and go onto the pitch and have a bad game, like, so be it. You've prepared the best you can, so what, you know, that's not going to change the outcome. I think if you can, yeah, just tick all the boxes and do the extras, like, you can't control what's going to happen in the game. Like, you can't control the outcome. All you control is your attitude and your work rate. So I think that's just the way I now approach things, just that way, and just try to not get too bogged down that if I have a bad game or if we get beat, yes, it's going to be, you will analyse it. I'm not saying I'm never going to do that again, but I just take it a bit better now. So, yeah.
Brilliant. That's great advice anyway for young girls. Is there anything in particular or anything else you would like to add to that? Young girls who, like you said, you would have struggled with your confidence really badly. Confidence and self-esteem is
huge
issue for young girls. Is there anything else you would like to add to that, or anything else like you think would be supportive to them?
I think just don't put pressure on yourself. I think a lot of younger girls, they set expectations, which, you know, is great. You have to have standards, like 100%, but do not put pressure on yourself. If I could give advice to like my younger self, it would be play with freedom. Like, you know, if you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying playing, it will in turn have a positive impact on how you're actually performing. Do you know what I mean? So it goes hand in hand. So I think just
that's all right, Mark. We'll not be anyway.
You're grand. But yeah, I would just say just try to enjoy it more and put less pressure on yourself. and just don't give up either.
So, as a senior player and a leader, captain, what does leadership mean to you? How would you define a good leader?
On the field, I suppose, like, you need to lead with intent. You know, you need to be constantly encouraging, calling out any bad behaviour that you're seeing or things that you don't agree with, giving constructive criticism where it's needed. But I think also understanding each player's personality. I think it's good to like understand some people might take something completely wrong, or like you know that you can like shout at certain people. Like other people need a wee bit more encouragement, others will take it on the chin. So I think it's knowing their personalities as well. And then off the field, I would say, you know, just being a role model in the way you live your life in general, just the commitment that you give to trainings, showing up to under 14 matches, you know, like being supportive to all teams, I suppose. I don't know if that answers your question.
So we've talked a lot about your injuries in the past and currently and how you're working through that. What are the goals that you want to meet in camogie and in life? What are you going to achieve?
I suppose first things first is to try to get back on the pitch running. I have not ran in a full year, so I think my goals are slightly different in terms of like performance at the minute because they're broken down into very small steps. Can't look too far ahead, but I would be hoping to try to make it back for some of club championship this year. It's the aim. I feel like you have to have something to aim towards, but I need to make sure that it's not like putting external stress on myself either. I've just accepted that I will not be back for county this year, which is very hard to take, especially whenever they're going so well. But I made a commitment and I'll be there for the rest of the year and just be encouraging and just be there on the sideline as much as I can. I don't know, I suppose whenever I go back, I think I need to take a bit of my own advice as well and to just play with a bit more freedom. I think as you get older, you just sort of realise, you know, you appreciate your playing days so much more. So, yeah, I know I have a few more years left in me, but I suppose I just want to, play with a bit more, just play a bit more carefree and enjoy it more.
Be grateful for getting to play the game that you love.
Absolutely, that's it. Like, yeah, 100%.
And what about championships? Any on the way?
Hopefully. No, honestly, Cushendall is in a very good place at the minute. I think just with younger girls being bled in and the experienced players. I'm literally talking about myself, me and Laura. But I think that blend is really good and our management are absolutely super. I could not actually give them enough credit for what they've done. So even for them, I would just love for them to see a championship. Obviously I've never ever won a championship with Cushendall. So it would be the icing on top of the cake if that was to happen, you know, in the next year or two. And then with county as well, you know, we're definitely going in the right direction. Back-to-back senior Ulster championships there. We've secured 1A status in league. I don't think, for as long as I've been a part of it, we've never played at that level before, so that'll be incredible for the next couple of years if we're able to maintain that. And then the big one is obviously the intermediate championship too this year, so definitely got our sight set on that. If we could just keep performing the way we have done, I think, you know, it's definitely looking good. It's looking good. So it would be great if the year was to end with a couple bits of silverware.
Absolutely. absolutely. And the icing on the cake's getting you back playing.
Yeah, I just literally just want to play. That's all I want.
Cheering, just getting you back.
Definitely, definitely.
Absolutely.